Well, the Gauteng Roads and Transport Department has obtained a court order interdicting violence between the Witwatersrand African Taxi Owners Association and the Nancefield Dube West Taxi Association. This after these taxis, the ones you're seeing here, were set alight in the Joburg CBD and Soweto at the weekend. So it's a very important question to ask now. Taxi associations aside, Manqoba Mchunu out for us in the Joburg CBD this morning. Hello to you, Manqoba. Do commuters, that's the most important question, do commuters feel safe this Monday morning?
Well, certainly, Gareth, a lot of concern from commuters here this morning. In fact, we are here in Soweto, Gareth, where we've been monitoring the taxi activity between the two rival taxi associations. And at this particular point, Gareth, I can tell you that there has been disruption in as far as one of the taxi associations is concerned. We do understand that the taxi association, which is the Nancefield Dube West Taxi Association, known as Nandue, is not operating any of their vehicles this morning. You recall that there were attacks that happened on Saturday outside Carlton Centre, and we do understand that from those attacks, the taxis that were targeted in that particular incident were the taxis belonging to this particular taxi association. So, speaking to some of the leaders from within this taxi association, what they've told us this morning is that they're not going to be operating their taxis up until those meetings or a peace deal has been reached between the two warring taxi associations. And you recall, Gerard, that earlier on you spoke to one of the taxi associations, which is the Witwatersrand African Taxi Association, which said that their taxis, however, will be operating this morning. There was a long meeting that they had with the MEC of Transport yesterday, where they were trying to iron out some of these issues. And what we do understand, Gareth, from that particular interaction with the MEC is that the two parties have now agreed that they're going to be meeting this Wednesday to try perhaps and reach some sort of peace when it comes to working together, of course. And the MEC also assuring that they have agreed to sort of cease the violence for now up until Wednesday, to allow for those conversations and those discussions to continue between the two warring factors. But also shortly, we just saw a statement from the Gauteng Roads and Transport Department confirming that they've now been granted an interdict, which basically prevents any of the two warring taxi associations from preventing any other forms of transport, which include Rea Vaya, which include Patco buses, which include other taxi associations here in Soweto, from engaging or from blocking them from effectively doing their work. So as far as that is concerned, we do understand that they will be meeting later this week, but I can certainly confirm, Gareth, to you that the taxis belonging to Nandue are not operating here this morning.
And give us a sense, before I let you go, Manqoba, what are the police doing as far as arrests and investigations are concerned? We've turned our focus away from the actual incident, the destruction of property on the weekend, to what the taxi associations are saying. But still, people need to be held accountable for this. Someone torched these taxis. What are we hearing from police? What are your sources saying?
Well, indeed, Gareth, what we've heard so far is that there have been cases that have been opened by those who have been affected. We do understand that there were about 6 cases of malicious damage to property that have been opened by the taxi bosses themselves. But in terms of investigation, the MEC also coming out quite strong, condemning what happened, saying that the law enforcement officials should take their course. We also understand, Gareth, that the meeting that was held yesterday between the taxi associations as well as the MEC of Transport, those were held separately. They were not held under one roof. They were held at different times between these two, and they also involved members of the JMPD, who of course have been quite instrumental in trying to maintain some sort of stability and order at some of the routes that have been affected. So in terms of investigations, we do understand that the cases have been opened, and that there will however be investigations as to who really is behind these attacks, those who have been fingered to have been the ones responsible for the attack that happened on Saturday. But the MEC also saying that they won't tolerate any form of violence, and that they are going to ensure that the law does take its course for anybody who's found to be breaking this particular issue when it comes to the issue of violence.
All right, so we understand then, although one of the taxi associations not operating today, we'll come back to you again a little bit later. The taxi association I spoke to, Hamilton Mia from the Witwatersrand African Taxi Association, he told me their association, their taxis are operating. The one that is not, according to Manqoba and his sources, is the Nancefield Dube West Association. They are not operating today.